Aloha, everybody. Welcome back for those that have been to previous workshops, and if any of you are new, thanks so much for coming out today. My name is Jesse, if I haven't met any of you. I work with Maya and Chanston at the Food Hub, helping market and create these lovely learning experiences for us. And we're super excited today to kick it off with a marketing workshop. We have an amazing guest presenter all the way from Hilo. This is Katie, and she is the Director of Operations with Ho'ola Farms. They run a similar operation to the Kohala Food Hub and even more down in Hilo. They have, it's part of the Hilo Food Hub, or the Hilo Food Hub is part of Ho'ola Farms. And they do Hawai'i farm to car. And they also have a commercial kitchen program down there. So Katie will tell more about that. Thank you, Katie. We'll let you get started.
Yes, thank you so much for Kohala and all the wonderful things you do out here and inviting me out. And for all of you for spending your Saturday talking marketing, which I know is an incredibly daunting topic. And then you got handed a 4-page worksheet and you're just like, oh gosh. So hopefully you don't have to be too intimidated by it. We'll go through it. You can either read it as you go. I will be talking through these things, or take it home after you digest all this information. The hope is that it's easy check-off list to make. The whole goal of this is to make marketing simple, time effective, and save money, because marketing can drain all of those things if you don't have a plan for it. So with that being said, let's get started. So I'm Katie Neal. I came here from Hilo. I'm originally from Southern California. I have about over 10 years now in marketing and communications, working for marketing agencies, tech startups, and was incredibly burnt out. So I started as a volunteer at Hawaii Farm to Car, which is very similar to what Kohala does. It's an online farmers market. I still am very into health and nutrition, and believe that you should know where your food comes from. It's just start from the very beginning. And moving here, I was like, I don't know half of these fruits and vegetables. I've never seen these before. So it was a wonderful experience volunteering, and that I always joke that marketing always follows me. I always try to, I'm like, I'm gonna switch careers, and I always end up doing it. But it was a natural evolution with doing it for a nonprofit and something I believed in, and putting your time and energy into something where you got to see the wonderful things that came out of it. So 5 years later, I'm still with Ho'ola, still working in marketing communications, but in the nonprofit world, you do a lot of everything. So doing a lot of operations now too. And my family, I've grown my family with Ho'ola as well. So I have an 18-month-old, that's Callan there, and my husband. I have one on the way, so I'm gonna try to make it through without having to go to the bathroom. So I'll let you guys know, but yeah, we get to spend time with donkeys and farmers and chickens and fresh food, and there's no other way I'd possibly want to do it. So thank you for having me, and let's get into it. Ho'ola Farms, so I do work with Ho'ola Farms. I know we've said this a million times, but I'll just run through our programs real quick. So at our core is for veterans, caregivers, and their families, and we do that through agriculture, food access, and connection on Hawaii Island. We started with a Victory Gardens for Veterans program, where they would deliver free garden beds, raised garden beds with soil amendments, food plant starts, and a care card on how to take care of your garden for a lot of mental health reasons, but also to get out there and obviously eat healthy food in the process. And that led to Ho'ola's been around for over 10 years now, so has grown. We have Groundwork to Grow, which is similar to this. It's agribusiness courses, so that could be physically in the ground, learning how to grow food, grow your farm, grow your business through marketing and business classes and such. Hawaii Farm to Car, our online farmers market. Hilo Food Hub is our commercial kitchen. And then recently we have a Food as Medicine program where we do food distribution, where we connect the local food with people with low access. So free food bags, and we send them out to people in the community. Okay, what we'll cover today. And feel free to ask questions. I will do the best I can. You can ask one marketer something at 10 different answers. So take that with what it is. So today we'll do why business goals matter before you market. Super important. The branding basics for small food businesses, how to connect with the right customer, steps to creating your marketing plan, and where to focus your time and energy. So it'll really be 3 parts. Really briefly on your goal, like having a goal before you start a business goal. People clump branding and marketing together, but I always like to say they are separate. They go together, but they're separate. And then doing that work before you make your marketing plan. And doing all this so you do save money and you do save time and you don't go down the rabbit hole. I tried, because this was for food businesses, but it will relate to everyone. I have a cooking theme throughout, and then I switched it up to like movie themes, so bear with my PowerPoint. But marketing without goals is like cooking without a recipe. I can't bake, so any Pinterest recipe I make does end up looking like this, which is why it is important to start here. So business goals. I won't get too into this because I'm not the business person, but I do have resources in here to go through it. But it's really important that you have a goal before you start marketing. And that's not like, I want to make $1 million. It can be much smaller, but have a reason to start spending money in your time. So the goals will guide your marketing decisions by knowing your focus before you start. Working in an agency, you get to see a lot of different businesses, and I'd say that was the one time that was the most frustrating part, was when people would come to us with what it'd be like, I want to do Google Ads, and it's like, but why? We'd spend all this money to send them to a website that was broken, or a form that sent them nowhere. So really knowing why you want to spend money and why you want to market is crucial before you get started. And I'm sure many of you have heard this before, but it is a good place to start, a SMART goal. So make that goal specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And here is an example. So I've been very lucky to work with a lot of small business owners on the east side of Hawaii Island, and this is a practical one that I've heard a lot of times. Craft fairs are big, farmers markets are big. So an example of a SMART goal would be, I would like to get into 4 farmers markets within 3 months and sell at least 50 cookies, especially around the holidays. That's a big time for our craft fairs. And so very specific, these 4 markets, measurable. I need to sell 50 cookies to at least make a profit on my time. And so what's the sales you need to make? Achievable. If you've never been to one market, maybe you start with one. Time-based, and then relevant and time-bound, so within 3 months. Free business resources, I'm going to put it right back onto Kohala because they just did this. So if you've missed them, go back into their YouTube channel and watch their how to start a business, and then food business planning and market research will really help you narrow down what you're trying to achieve before you get into marketing. I also just did a quick Google search of what was going on around the island, and I did see that the Small Business Development Center also has some free courses coming up. I lied, one is $15. So check out the Hawaii Small Business Development Center, but there's also, I feel like the island does a great job of having events and workshops, and you're all here today, which says a lot. Well, this is great to know as you're starting a business, and obviously if you currently have one too. There's a lot that goes into small businesses. Okay, so back to my food analogy. Branding is like your signature dish. It's what makes people recognize you and come back for more. This is an Ola burger, and I feel like is their signature dish for me. As a Southern Californian, and it hits my In-N-Out needs, and it is delicious. I don't know if anyone has ever had it. I know they're in Ola, or in Kona as well. Okay, what is branding? So we have our goal, before you start marketing, it's really important that you have some branding. And you don't have to have everything written down. It could be as simple as a logo and some colors, but don't stop there. So what is branding? Branding is how your business looks, feels, and sounds. It can include your logos, colors, font, packaging, tone of voice. It builds recognition and trust with customers, which is why it's important to not change it the next week. So they can look at your booth or look at your product and be like, oh, I remember that. It's also the experience that they have with you or whoever is representing your brand. Are you happy? Or are you more like, are you hot topic? Like what is the vibe you give off when people come to your business? And to do your research beforehand. So I threw these 3, technically you can buy food stores in East Hawaii. So you have your KTA, which has been around forever. I don't think, do you have you don't have a KTA on this side? Waimea. In Waimea? Yeah. Okay, so you're familiar.
They bought Takadas.
And yeah, that's true.
They owned Takadas, but they didn't change the name or anything.
Oh.
It was interesting.
Which is our little grocery store.
Okay, has that been around for a while?
Yeah.
100 years.
Yeah.
Really long time.
When I was researching KTA, I believe that has also been around for 100 years. So, yeah, so many would look at that label and have a feeling, and it has history. You can get local food. You can get you know what you're going to get. Localvore is a smaller, pretty much your walk into farmers market. They really support the farmers, and it's grassroots, and they'll I just saw on Friday they closed the shop so they can have like a make signs for, I don't want to say protesting, but like they stand up for things. They're part of the community. And then Safeway is like your corporate brand. It's everywhere in the U.S.
Locavore is great.
They are great. If you guys are in Hilo, you should definitely stop by.
Where are
They
Right next to Ben Franklin.
Yes, thank you. They just expanded, which we love to see when community shops like that can grow. So they are right behind Ben Franklin and in between Ben Franklin and Daiso, if you guys are familiar with that. Okay, brands in action. So I was gonna bring some examples, I totally forgot. Labeling, I won't get into the legality of labeling, but that's a whole thing. So you gotta have legal, and I'm sure, Anthony, I'm sure there's someone that went through this of what legally needs to be on your label, but there's a lot of marketing and branding that goes into it as well. So let's go for the coconut oats energy bites. It's a if you're eating energy bites, you can kind of assume it's a healthy product, and they point that out. So no oils, dairy free. They don't legally have to say that on the front, but there's a reason that they're doing it. Only 6 ingredients. Why I say that on the front? It's because their audience wants to see it. And if your bag is sitting next to someone else's bag that sells the exact same thing, you have not very much time you're selling right there on your brand and on your packaging. I really like Hawai'i Ulu Co-op. Has anyone heard of them? I'm pretty sure you guys sell, okay, yeah, they're amazing. If you look at their packaging, sorry, it is hard to see, but right in the front, they tell you how to cook it. So maybe that's something that they learn from their audience where it's like, this is a frozen food. You're not selling a Twix bar, you're selling a very plain vegetable. So how do we make this, it's quick and it's easy. It has good source of fiber. It's non-GMO. It's naturally gluten-free. You can steam it, bake it, cook it, all in the very front. Again, they don't need to say any of that technically. Hawaii grown squash. So really, the labeling goes so much more beyond what you actually have to have on there. And then I have Malama mushroom. I saw that you guys had Malama mushroom here. Was it Ben? Okay. Yeah, okay, I've never personally met them, but we sell them on our market, and I've always loved their branding. This is their social media. I pulled some of their graphics. So for anyone that's not familiar, it's like mushroom extract and powders. Okay, yeah. But they get like really funky and psychedelic with their branding, but they're also very science-based. So they really hit their audience well. And humorous. So this message is from the IRS, like you need to do your taxes soon, but good news, there's lion's mane. So there's a lot of fun that you get to do with that. And then at their expo, they're all in tie-dye. So they know their people, they know their audience, and it makes them stand out against someone else that sells it in a more medical grade black and white or white and blue tube. But that's how this is good branding because I've never met them, and I can just say like that would be, if I look at what they put out there and how they describe themselves, they know their audience well, and we'll get into the knowing your audience, but take the time to meet your customers. It's okay if your branding's not perfect at first. It really shouldn't be because you're just starting, but you're starting your business for a reason, so go off of that. Like you're starting because you want to fulfill something that's missing and you're passionate about. But you're going to learn your audience along the way, and that is really good what's going to tailor your branding in the process. The most success I've seen with advertising is when we stopped forcing our message on people and we used the words of the customers not just order from us, but repeat order that love us. So if you are an in-person market, ask your repeat customers why they love it, and then throw it on your label, throw it on your branding, throw it in your messaging, write it down. That is your most valuable, free information you can get. Okay, so wholesale in action. Anyone dealing with wholesale items yet? I know this might be down the road. Yeah, I mean, even if you, even working with some of the retail farmers, online farmers market, I know we deal with some wholesale accounts, and I will say if you have a value added product, you have to compete to even get in to other stores. And then what makes that wholesaler's life easier is kind of where your marketing comes in. That's relationships, but your branding. We can put your item on our shelves, but you have to do the selling for yourself. So that's the branding, that's the marketing. And then also we have a option for you, at least in the online section, to have an about us. And so the ones who describe their product well and they sell it in that quick bio. So having that information ready will make it probably easier to get into these retail markets and continue that relationship with those brand or retailers. And then even when down the road, just considering throwing your label on the box. Helps with brand recognition. So building your brand kit, it really doesn't have to be anything fancy, but staying organized is some of my best advice you can do, because it's hard there's a lot of little pieces that get involved in a brand. So what would go in a brand kit or what you'd want in branding would be a business name, a quick about us. So describe your product, describe your business, why you do what you do. You're gonna need that not only for maybe social medias or advertising, but you would need it for wholesale. You're gonna use it so much, so have it written down somewhere you can copy and paste easily. Logos with transparent backgrounds, 2 to 3 colors. Hex code is so you never lose that color digitally. It's called a hex code, and you can get that when you're creating your colors online. Write those down, because it's hard to get a color. You can spend hours like, okay, that is the perfect color. You use it all day, and then you go make something else, and you lose the color, and you're just like, what was it? And then you're back in that color wheel, like trying to microscopically find it again. That is horrible. So write down those. But once you find something you like, write it down. Same thing with your fonts. There's nothing worse than trying to, if I help a brand out and I'm like, great, I'll help you with your marketing, but what's this font? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh gosh. So now I have to go and like compare a million fonts to that font. And so if you can just write down the font, it'll save everyone, again, time, money, energy, and it's free. Write it down. So organization is key. Your brand voice. So if you don't get to this yet, maybe you'll figure that out, but are you an expert? Is it a scientific? Are you healthy, nutritious, friendly, playful? Some keywords will go a long way in your brand voice. Product photos. So if you don't have a professional camera, iPhones these days are pretty incredible, but you're going to need photos. So if you can get product photos, if you have a booth, sometimes if you try to go to a farmer's market or an event, they have you show an event you've done before. So just even taking a picture of your beautiful setup you already did and saving these. One of my favorite tools is Google Drive, or you can have a folder on your computer, but anytime you get quality images, ask a friend who's really into it to get product photos, events, if you're already there and you already did the work. Brand messaging, so your tagline and key phrases. Let's see, taglines here. Only 6 ingredients, that is a tagline. So what are things that get people in? And those can change, you can add them. None of this has to be stuck, but you do need to have something. Okay, so free branding resources. I'm all for free. And online, it's almost like kind of intimidating how many resources there are. So I'll start with Canva, which is my favorite. Has anyone used Canva?
All the time.
I love it. Okay. Canva's amazing. So for the most part, it's free unless you want specific like graphics or images. So you can create logos. You can pull colors and get the hex codes and fonts. You can easily create social media posts in there. You can store your brand kit. If we have time at the end, I can even go into mine. It makes things really easy to create. If you're not finding the colors you want to see, colors.co is a palette generator. So you can even tell, I will tap into AI a little bit today, but I won't go too much. But that is a nice, I'm pretty sure colors.co, you can say, if you're just starting out, like this tell it about your product and the style you want, and it will give you a whole palette options, and you can continue to edit, which would save a lot of time because it is hard to nail those down. Google Fonts is something similar, so you can work with Google easily to give you fonts based on your style and what your product is, and it can get out some font ideas. And when it comes to your fonts, you want a few. So you'll, like, for example, this slide. I have a title font that's like fun, and then no one wants to read this font over and over again. So I have like a body text. So that's why you'd have 2 to 3 to even 4 sometimes text options. So this is what my logo font would be. This is my header font, and then these are some fonts I use for the body. You will find yourself in situations where you don't want to be too stuck in your branding. Unsplash. I really love this. So I know people aren't all for stock images, but there are times when you're going to need some stock images. And these are completely free, and they're really beautiful professional photos. So that's unsplash.com. You can just type in, so say you're eventually building a website, or maybe you need a really beautiful plant. It could be anything. You can download them for free, and you don't have to source or have a weird graphic over it. Google Drive is one of my favorites for storing logos, photos, your brand kit, all in one area, and you can access it from anywhere. So say your computer just randomly dies, which mine just did, which was lovely. All of that's stored on my Google Drive. And then if I do end up working with someone, even if it's your niece or your cousin, they're gonna need these things, these files from you. So again, I can't tell you who I've worked with, we're like, hang on, it's it's in my third page of my email somewhere, and I'm just like, oh, where? So if you can have them in an organized place, it'll save you. Okay, so let's talk about AI for a second. I don't know if it's something all business owners, in my opinion, should use, because it can do the work of what we used to pay people so much money to do. Here's a few that I am familiar with and use. So Claude AI. If you're my suggestion would be, if you're a little bit farther in your business, if you do have your branding done, I just transitioned to Claude. It's a little more advanced, but ChatGPT, has anyone heard of that? Okay, yeah. So ChatGPT, let me just give you an example. So if you have your brand guide done, it doesn't have to be great, but you can be like, here are my logos, here's my font, here's the About Us. Can you help give me ideas? Here's the event I want to do. So having your own background research a bit, you have to have something to get you started. But you could tell ChatGPT that, and then say, I need content post ideas for 10. Give me 10 Instagram posts, and it'll knock it out in seconds. Not necessarily although you know what, some might do it, but not necessarily the images, but it'll give you a complete direction to go. Or I need often with the About Us, you need a 10-word, 40-word, 100-word, and if you can just give it even 20 words, but help me turn this into a 50-word, and it will do that. And you can work with it, like, okay, that sounds pretty good, but I need you to edit. I don't sound like that, change these words. So it's kind of like your own marketing assistant if you know what to say. You can even create your logo with AI. You can help with your brand. Again, I won't get too far into it, but I do think it's worth saying it is a valuable resource to learn about. And maybe one day I'll come back specifically just for it. Okay, so you have your business goal. I'm gonna get to 4 farmers markets and sell my cookies. You have your brand, so you know how to set up your event table, and now you need to market it. So marketing is how you get people to the table. You've got your recipe, you've got your signature dish, and now it's time to let people know you're open. So there are 3 different pieces that are essential. The 2 are essential to start to have something before you get to marketing. I don't know how it is over here, but I can speak for Hilo, where the business hours, if I'm here, I'm open, is very true. They'll have just like the most beautiful Yelp page, and it's like in all the great food, and I'm like, I'm so hungry, I can't wait to go. And I drive down, and they're just like not there. And I'm just like, oh, so. Totally, yeah. And you're just like, well, I guess I get it. I didn't mention this, so I'm glad I went back. I haven't personally used it myself, but I do know a lot of people are just starting out their business. I messed with it a little bit. It's called Luca, or Wix Logo Maker, and it can generate logos for you. Which again, like only 2 years or 3 years ago, you'd have to outsource that to a graphic designer, which could cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it's worth trying. It's free, and it could really get you started. You can change your branding, and you probably will as you are in business longer, but if there's things that are just pausing you from going, like getting your label, then try out these free resources. So what is marketing? Marketing is telling your story to the right people and the right way. It's what you do to reach and engage your customers. It can be social media, events, email, word of mouth. Radio is really popular where I am. Banners along the side of the road. Marketing shares your brand and supports your business goals. Has anyone seen Dodgeball? Okay. I looked it up, and Dodgeball came out like over 20 years ago. Because I was like, I'm gonna probably ruin the ending for this, but I was like, it's 20 years, so that gives me, I think, the ability to ruin it. Yeah. Okay, so Dodgeball, you have 2 competing gyms. One is thriving and one is not. And then one of the gyms that is all based on the perfect body image and body shaming, and the other one has kind of the misfits, but he's not willing to like claim that as his audience. And he's like, the gym's going down. Fast forward, they play dodgeball. He wins the dodgeball tournament. But what if he spent all that money to save his gym and then continue to try to be like Globo Gym, even though clearly his people are not those people? So at the very end, he does this commercial, and I threw this in last minute. I was just driving home, and I don't know why dodgeball came into my head. I honestly think if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Comes into my head more often than I'd like to admit. Okay, so he says, so it's a commercial of him in like a flannel and like casual clothes. He's walking through his gym, and he's like, I'm the owner of Average Joe's. I'm here to tell you that you're perfect just the way you are, and you feel like losing some pounds and getting healthier and making some good friends. That Average Joe's is the place for you. And so there it is, like between a failing business and a successful business, when you can really truly understand who you're talking to and how to market towards those people. Okay, bringing it all together, you got your goals, branding, and marketing. Goals are what you want, branding, who you are, and marketing, how you tell your story and connect with customers. Now let's make a marketing plan. Woo! Okay, your 8-step marketing plan. This is helpful. I've even had this myself as a marketer, where there's so many things you can do. Like I can write a blog, I can create a website, I can go on Yelp. Everyone's on TikTok right now. I should do that. So often I find if you're able to just walk away with like 5 thoughtful things to do right now, like go do it right now, and it feels tangible, that is a win. And doing this worksheet, you don't have to do it right now, but it will help you narrow down really big gaps in where you are. So I'll just start with, I don't think branding's on here, but it's just a checklist of like, what branding do you have? Do you even, like you can put even notes like, I don't have my logo yet, but like this is the design that I'm thinking about us. Maybe you didn't even think about a couple of these, so circle the ones that you need and starting there. So let's go through these. Back to my goals. I'll repeat it a million times because I've heard it a million times. So have something that you're trying to achieve with your marketing. That could be as simple as, I worked with someone recently who was opening a cafe, and she was showing me all her branding. Like she did such an amazing job. It's so beautiful. And I was trying to figure out what she needed from me though. I was like, well, this looks great. And she goes, oh, and by the way, I'm opening next month, and no one knows about me. And I was like, okay, there's a goal. You're opening next month, and we need to do some awareness to get people through the doors. So having a goal and a reason to do your marketing is a good place to start. I don't know if anyone's a soccer fan. We got the Premier League, Mo Salah, scoring some bangers. All right. Research your competition. So this is really good, especially if you're trying to figure out if you haven't even started a business, who's out there. This will be really helpful. This has helped me a lot, especially if I don't know a product too well. So who else sells what you sell? Or who else does business like you do? Or who inspires you? What do they do well? How are you different? What's your secret sauce? And look for gaps that you can fill. Does anyone have a product that they have that they want to share? Yeah?
Go ahead, he's going to be the minder.
I'm a beekeeper.
You're a beekeeper. I don't think it makes noise.
Hello? Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
It's
pretend.
no, it is recording, but it feels pretend. Yeah.
So weird. Okay, sorry about that. No, I'm a beekeeper, and I've been doing it for 13 years, and I sell honey, and I make beeswax candles and balm and soap and
Yeah.
mead, although don't have any right now. But anyway, so I make a bunch of stuff, and I never did any of this.
And you'd what?
I didn't do any of this.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I made my own logo, and I just show up every single
And you
week.
can, and you should, and that's also
At
how
that.
you get started. And it will help you fill this out even easier because I'm guessing you know your people a bit by now.
Yeah, I just come into the market here every single Saturday. And
Yeah. And then do you have, is there something about your honey that you like to tell people is different than others?
Yes. Most beekeepers actually use chemicals in their hives because of the small hydroxyl bromide. And when they came, they decimated 85% of all the bees on the island back
really
in
sad.
2008 and 10. Then all the beekeepers ran out and bought miticides and chemicals and stuff. So like we are treatment free, and we don't use any chemicals in our hives. So that's one difference. Plus our top bar, which is a different style of processing the honey. Yeah.
Okay.
So I say we because my daughter helps me, but it's really just my business.
In 13 years, that is impressive. But yes, so that is your talking. I'm guessing that's what you say when people ask you about your honey.
Not every single person or anything. But every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, but I do think that I could do more than I have been.
Totally. And then and seeing what others are doing. Not always just in a way that's saying why is mine different or better, but also maybe they spend a lot of money on marketing, and you're like, I'm not going to spend that much money, but clearly I could get a couple of those things that they're doing. So if it's in the honey industry, labeling, maybe in an About Us card. If you're at events, could you do a different banner? I'm literally just throwing things out there, but if you can go look at other beekeepers and honeys you're inspired by and take notes in a positive way, not that you want to copy them, but that marketing strategy would really work well for me too, because they have done the research and spent the time and a lot of money doing it. And so it's nice to see, where does the industry live? A beekeeper won't live the same place that a restaurant will. So seeing where they live on the types of marketing that they do and how they do it will save you a lot of time as well. And it's free. It's free to go look at other people. Again, it's not really to copy. It's just to get inspired by what's successful for them. I'm trying to think of another example for that. I do look at packaging a lot, where I helped someone with a turmeric juice or turmeric shot, and there's 4 other turmeric shots next to them. What makes theirs more sellable? It goes back to the labeling of theirs is actually 10 times stronger than the average turmeric shot. So you would want to put that on the labeling. Then we can go into I'll keep going. So here's an example. Sorry, I think I had a question. So research your competition. So you can look at it's just great to look at different products. Like, why do they add the age on? You might actually legally have to add the age for some of these, but other things of grass-fed beef. I don't know if you guys have heard the protein craze, but right now people are really into protein. So I'm pretty sure one of these it does 5 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. So questioning, why did they put that on there? Is that something people want to see if you're just starting out and you don't really know your audience yet either? Which goes to your audience. Really important to know. If you don't have an audience yet, that's okay. But as you get into business, or even before you get into business, you can ask your friends and people around you about your product, why they would be interested in it, and continue to ask this question. So who are the people? What are their ages, interests, lifestyle? Where do they spend time online and in person? What problems can you solve for them? What do they value most? Price, quality, convenience, health. Is it good for the environment? Like you were saying about the bees, we don't use toxins. What does your customer care about? That's really good to know. Once you do have an audience, once you feel like you have a few people you can talk to, whether that's repetitive people at the farmer's market, or you have, we do a lot of customer surveys, which I can just say are invaluable to the way we market. For example, we do an online farmer's market, which I thought the number one reason they were coming to us was to support farmers. And the number one reason they were coming was convenience, that they could not get out of their car. They can come and get their bag of food. and farmers were part of that, but I wasn't really talking about convenience too much to people who haven't heard about our market, and then the freshness of the products. So once I learned that, my ads went from like support your farmer to like a convenient farmers market where you can just pick up your food and support your farmers. So learning, you might, especially when you're in business for a while and you're thinking about a product for a long time, you start to just kind of, one, get crazy, and two, think about your words and your why. And so it's really nice to step out from a fresh perspective of what are they saying and use their language on why you're selling your product. And you can learn a lot. And then also, where are they spending their time online or in person? So if you're, a lot of our customers are 50 and over, using Facebook a lot. So for us to get on TikTok makes no sense. Email has been incredible because we are an online platform. So if someone can just easily click a button to our market, it's much more likely than them going to our social media, which everyone tells you, like, you have to be on social media, you have to post every single day. Where, do you? Like, ask yourself, like, where are my people? Maybe they're like anti-social media, and that's what makes your audience like your audience. So try to figure out where your people are, and that will save you so much time, money, and energy because you're not on every platform. You might have a newsletter called the Anti-Social Media Club, and you're like, just talk about your product, but also you'll learn them and what else might interest them. Yeah.
So, if you want it, do you give them like a little postcard or something with a little question that they could answer at your farmer's market, like, why did you decide to buy it today, or why do you come back, or what do you ask?
That's a great question, and actually that was hard for me to figure out at first too, but those open-ended questions are great. So what you would ask is, you can keep it simple. So why do you shop with us over other, do you have an example business?
Granola.
Granola, okay. So why do you choose our granola over other granolas? That'd be really helpful to hear. You might think like, oh, it's because we don't, same thing with the farmer's market concept. I was like, oh, it's because of the local farmers, but there might be something in there that you didn't think about. So maybe it's because, oh, well, yours lasts in my pantry 5 times longer than another one. So, yeah, why do you shop with me over someone else? What do you love about us most? And that's a really good question. I think it would leave it to like 5, like something where they'll actually do it. And then incentivize people. It's so valuable to you. That is where I would put money into research, always. So if you're just doing in person, like, hey, I have a free sample if you'll fill this out real quick. Or you have a QR code if you're gonna go digital. So a QR code that takes them, Google's an incredible resource. It's called Google Forms, and it's free. And they can take a survey in seconds, and then it not only tells you the feedback, but charts it for you. So it's like 80% of your customers think this. Really great for grants if anyone's going for it. But yeah, but a physical paper is fine. Or if it's just casual. So if it's you're more personal with your customers, then it's like, hey, do you have 2 minutes? Like, I'm really trying to get into my marketing. Can you help me answer a few questions? And what I have learned in customer research is if you can try to get 10 people, I think that's like the minimum I would do, like about 10. And if 3 or more people repeat the same thing, I would hold on to that. So you want to see consistency in what they're saying. I wouldn't just have one person say, well, I like granola because it tastes really good after I brush my teeth. And you're like, that's so random. And then you go market it, and you're like, so you want to, but what if 3 people said that? You're like, that's crazy, but okay. Okay, maybe like you need at least 50 to say that. I don't know why. But anyways, hopefully you guys get the point. You want to make sure that it's not a one-off thing. You can see some consistency in it. And I will say recently I used AI because I had 100 people take a survey, and I used to comb through it one by one, and I submitted it into Claude, and I said, tell me the most consistent feedback I'm getting. And in seconds, it told me. It was like, this is the food they want to see. This is their top 5 reasons for shopping with you. So,
So you fed what you got from your Google Forms
uh-huh.
into your Claude AI?
Uh-huh. In seconds. So if you are dealing with 10 people, you can just do that yourself. If you're getting into the hundreds, and that's with anything, especially with data, AI, I'm telling you, it's really helpful. Yeah, so if, and that's not just as you're starting out, I would say do that every 6 months to a year, check in with your customers. I would even, if I had a client who's never done customer reviews, but had a lot of Google and Yelp reviews, I would comb through their Google and Yelp reviews. That's very telling. What are people repeatedly saying about this business that they like? This is a very random example. I worked with a solar company in Oahu, and they were really successful, but over and over again, they mentioned that we chose this company because of their warranty. And I was like, did you guys realize that like people are really excited about your warranty? And they're like, not like, yeah, but not really. So that was really big. In like bold, it was like 20-year warranty. And we were just immediately speaking to what was successful for them. So it's a cheat sheet. Use the language of your people and why they're shopping with you. Yeah. You guys are on it with the magic microphone. Yeah.
So in your experience, it seems to me that if you're not passionate about your product goes nowhere. You have to have some sort of interest in it, right? So,
I hope, yeah.
I mean, is that like, in terms of like, what one is valued the most? The least out there on the market, like it's unique. Mm-hmm. You have passion about it. I know Dawn still has passion about bees. Like she's a bee nut. You know, and that's probably why 13 years her product is so successful.
Totally.
Right? But then there's the other things where you're like trying to get out there and it's unique and it's new, but everyone's like, ooh, what is that? And it's just not trendy yet. Mm-hmm. But yet you're at the top of that's usually where I'm at. I'm the weirdo with the weird ideas and everyone's like, oh, that's ridiculous. And then it hits later after I'm already disinterested.
Yeah.
So what, and so what would you say is the most important, like the love for your product, or just like getting there before anybody else does, or just having a really strong market? Because beer still sells, and there's like 4 bazillion labels.
That's very true. Yeah.
Like, how do you comb through all that?
That is a tricky question, but I can only speak to what's coming to my mind currently and take that for what it is. If you are so passionate about a product and you're creating it because you truly believe in it, your branding, that is like branding gold, and you're already on fire because you are sharing the story of like, this product started, for an example, there's an amazing product. It's a turmeric elixir. And there's a million turmeric shots on the market, but she started it because she was, and I don't want to butcher her story, but she used to be an alcoholic, and then she got really into health and wellness, and she would bring these to her AA meetings, and like the people just start, and she didn't call it turmeric shot, and it still isn't called turmeric shot. So no one really knows, it's a turmeric elixir, concentrated elixir, not a common name. But she was so impacted by it, and she felt so powerful about the difference it was making in others that drove her to share that story and share that. And the product was good. I mean, at the end of the day, like, your product should also sell itself. But if you have a story behind it and you believe in your brand, that's why branding is very important. I think it's really hard to start a small business just to make money. It's really hard. So if some of your ideas died off, maybe it was because they like weren't it. But if there's something that you truly feel impacted by and you really believe, and that's how I feel about marketing too. Like, I can't market something that I know that person doesn't need or like they won't benefit from. It just doesn't come natural to me. So if you really believe in this product and you've had a good experience with it, that'll help sell the product. Is that helpful at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
I think it does come from
jumble
passion.
out there, you know. It's just, I just dumped $700 in a boat and sunk it in my pasture to create a snuggle zoo. And I
Okay.
have all these pamphlets and a great website, and it's really beautiful. But I've
Yeah.
been having a lot of blowback from the community, or maybe one person in the community, I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like taking the wind out of my sails.
Yeah.
And I've hit the hotels, and after I teach at the hotels like Maya did, we're yoga sisters. And
it.
so it ended up like, it kind of hurt my zest for
Yeah.
sharing the world of goats because of this one neighbor that kept writing scam on my signs and
Oh, I'm so
ripping my
sorry.
stuff down and telling
Yeah.
me she was going to tell the county. And I'm like, I already went to county. And like, it was just,
Yeah.
I don't know, like it makes you almost like gun shy to start a new, which I will always start another company. I've
Yeah.
started so many, but like,
Well, during your event, have you had people come and like get a lot of joy from it?
absolutely.
So I gotta imagine that's gonna continue to happen no matter
Yeah.
what you create.
Yeah, it's
Especially if you put yourself online.
mermaid goats.
Oh my gosh, it's
I mean,
a
how
scary
funny.
place.
So,
Yeah.
Goatlantis, and it's all about goat mermaids, and
That's
it's
incredible.
totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's super cute, but it's like,
Totally.
I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I know I need to go to the hotels. I know no one's seen a flyer here because I'm afraid everyone's just going to rip it down.
Yeah.
So I know I've gotten like,
Don't let her ruin your fun.
yeah, I've gotten gun shy about starting businesses in this town, in the yoga studio too. So it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. It,
Can I just, because that sounds really cool. You know, I snuggle goats, and I'm just thinking, why are you only to the hotels? You know, because I think of the cow cuddling.
yeah. Very
And our
popular.
Tutu and me, you know, they took a field trip there, and then if they like it, they're going to tell their friends, and so, I don't know, you know, because I've, lived here. I never heard of your snuggle goat mermaids, but,
Afraid
oh, okay.
to market it in town because I've noticed
Well-
that when I put stuff up, people rip them off the bulletin board.
Well, then you got to look at why and what, or, anyway.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about that. But if it goes back to your original question of like, why do you do it, or you're the passion in it, stick with that drive, because every business you create is going to have something like that. It's just the way my experience. Even two small businesses want to bring each other down sometimes, and you're just like, why? But you can't let that stop you. Totally. So, yeah, of course. I'm just going to check in on the time real quick. Okay. So that's audiences. This is like my favorite part of marketing, and this is what I like to do with people the most. So if you can take one thing away, this is very helpful to understand. So this is the buyer's journey. Your customer is not going to see your logo or see your face and be like, I'm going to order from you just because maybe like I like it. It takes about 7 to 8 times for them to see your brand, your product, to place an order. And there was this good reference to a restaurant. Usually you don't, maybe you'll walk by a restaurant and just order there, but for the most part, your friend will tell you about it. You'll visit their Yelp, you'll read their reviews, you'll look at their photos. You'll go to the restaurant and you'll be like, that was really good food. Like, what was your experience? Maybe you will then go write a review. So there's a lot of touch points in marketing, and it's really based on your goals. So here's a flow that they might go through. The awareness. So number one, it's how they very first hear about you, where they walk past your booth at the farmer's market, they see an Instagram post that someone shared, they just Google zoo pet cuddling nearby, they hear a radio ad or a flyer. So the awareness stage, the content you would make is, if you're trying to bring people in, that helps you really figure out what kind of content you would make. The consideration phase, so they're considering shopping with you, they're considering buying your product, so they view your Yelp, they might follow you on Instagram. They're not sure they want to buy, but they're gonna feel you out for a while. They're gonna follow you. They might stop by your booth for a couple weeks, get to know you, visit your website, read your reviews, and watch reels. Conversion, so yay, you made a sale, they buy from you. They visit your food truck, they buy online, they buy your most expensive product, or they sign up for your CSA or subscription. The retention phase, so they come back again. They want to order with you again. They open your emails. They follow up on specials. I did this customer surveys, and people just kept saying, I heard of you from Coconut Wireless, and I had no idea what that meant. I was like, what is Coconut Wireless? Totally. And I'm now going into my 6th year here, so I know Coconut Wireless now. But I was like, how are people like spreading the word about us through this one thing? So that is part of your marketing journey, is people talking about you and referring you. It doesn't have to be something paid for. It really can come from your customers. So advocacy would be that Coconut Wireless referring you to a friend. They leave you a review. So that's a really important stage. You got them through you did all the work. They went through every stage of the process, but now you need people who leave reviews, so then the awareness is thriving. You want them to tag their friends. You want them to share your post. So for example, if your goal, back to that cafe opening up, it was all awareness. Like, no one knew she existed. So it was open up that Yelp account, get some photos, get local businesses to share that you're opening up. So your business goal does not have to be, I need to sell out all my products. It can be, I want to launch my business by this day, and I want to get into this event and sell my first product. And that is how you'll figure out what to market. Now you need marketing materials. You need your banner. You want them to come back. I want a flyer about me. If I'm not going to create a website, maybe I do have a social media, not so I gain 1 million followers, but I can tell this person who liked me the next event I'm going to be at. So knowing the stages that people are going to be, or maybe you're really good at bringing people in, people buy from you, but they never come back. And you're like, why? So that is an area you need to work on, is how do I get people to order again? And that's where marketing can help you. You can create a referral program. You can give $5 off when you come back. So knowing the areas I won't say struggling in, but where you need marketing is what will save you money and time. Know your budget. If you don't have one, like $0, that's okay. If you don't have time, like, know your time and budget. So if you're like, I'm gonna go on Instagram, I'm gonna post every day, and then a day goes by and you're like, just feel like, never mind, I cannot do that. So be realistic about where you can show up, because you gotta be consistent. If it is social media, or pick one. If your goal is awareness, or if let's say you're at the farmer's market every Saturday selling your honey. You post that on Friday. I will see you tomorrow. Like, Saturday morning, you're there. I'm here. Here's my honey. Like, I'm letting you all know I'm here. They love you so much. They've known you for 13 years. Can you please write a review for me? So a lot of those things are free. It's just knowing where to spend your time and energy, and knowing where they are in the stage of their experience with you will let you know what that should be. So choosing your channels. So now you should have a general idea of where your audience goes and who they are, a general idea of your budget and time. So what matches my brand? If it is, let's see, let's just go for cow cuddling, because that's great. If it's cow cuddling, let's go for goats.
It's actually goat snuggling.
Goat
There is a
snuggling.
cow cuddling on the island.
Oh yeah, so we cannot be the same.
Goatlantis, goat snuggling.
All right, we are Goatlantis, goat snuggling, one of a kind. I would probably first search something like similar, like cow cuddling. Where do they show up? Are they on TripAdvisor? So who's your audience? Are they tourists? Are they locals? what a simple Google search will tell you a lot about your business and where your competitors are. So if you do Kohala, Goot, I already forgot the second part of it. It's not, is it cuddling? Snuggling. Snuggle Zoo. Incredible, how could I forget? Okay, so the Snuggle Zoo. If you're, let's just say your audience is tourists, people coming through, passing on their way to Pololu Valley, you would want to get in the flyers at this hotel right here and be like, you would want to hit the people visiting, and it's a cute little flyer, and it's like, most hotels have blogs that'll say, what's going on around the island, and you want to be on that. Like,
The concierges, they tell people exactly the fun things.
totally.
You hit them up, or you pay $200 for the flyers to go in the pool things.
It's if you know those are your people, it's worth every penny.
I don't know. I mean, I think so. I mean, tourism, they come, they want to do fun things, and
Or you start.
it's in the sun.
So maybe you're not ready to spend money. Maybe it's I'm going to open up, I'm going to see who comes and see why they like it, and then I'm going to start figuring out how they heard of me, and then I would wait to spend money until you are sure about where and who you're doing it for. So that would be, if you realize they are tourists, they are staying at this, let's just say this hotel, worth every penny to get on their list of local resources. Okay, choosing your channels. And then you gotta create content. I know no one wants to do it. It's a pain, but it can be in real time. So say you are at your booth, take a picture. I'm at my booth, come visit me, here's the location. It's if you have a product and your audience buys your granola, you can say, like really throw those recipes out there if that's what they like. And that's also something you wanna ask your audience too, but you can throw your granola on this beautiful way and so on. So knowing having your branding down, your audience, and the purpose of creating the content will help you with what to create. So you're not just staring at this intimidating social media account of like, what should I make? And you just copy what others are doing. That goes back to the global gym and average Joes. If you're trying to make content just like and talk to people just like this person when your audience really is with you for a different reason, that's your bread and butter. I'm going to create content on my people and like why they shop with me and talk to them in that way.
So I'll go to an event with a cohort of women, and we're in a group. And I will go home with an experience of the evening, right? And talk and share it with my family, what happened. They will all come back with pictures of everything through the whole thing, and I may have one. And usually the picture that I have is some artistic picture of like the place or shooting down because the shadows were good, and nothing to do with me in the event.
You are, so this is you in the
event.
Got it.
Or anything like that. It's like a mindset. It's I don't know.
Well, totally, because you're there to do a job. So is anyone there ever to help you?
Sometimes some of my family members, but then I guess I don't task them to do it. Sometimes it's just me, but they might come, like my kid, my 23-year-old, or my husband, and then he's just as bad as me. And then, because he'll get a beautiful artistic overview of the whole event.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And then if I task my 23-year-old, who's now not here anymore on this island, so then they might actually do like something a little bit more like the product or the.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Totally. I mean, that's very fair, and you're doing a lot in the process, which is why time. You got to be so specific with the reason behind needing that photo. Just to take a photo is like hard to remember. But if you know, I need to take a picture of my booth because one, that provides evidence and credibility that I can host and I can do booths if I want to try to apply for something else. I do have a social media account now. I do want to share my product. So if you have even slightly intentional marketing plans, you can go into that event with, just like you would, I need to bring 3 tables, 2 chairs, these bags, and I need to take 3 photos, like make it part of your to-do list. Because You can't go into that event thinking, what should I market right now? You have to know. And it's just part of your to-do list. It's like, I know that I meet a lot of wonderful people here. I need to have a card for them to take home, or I need to have a QR code that takes them to somewhere where they can learn about my next event. And so if you do have your husband or someone around, whether that's you and you just have like a little checklist on your table, or you task someone with it, you don't just say take a bunch of photos, you say take these photos. And then it's out of sight, out of mind for you, but you know that that task is getting accomplished. But I hear you, that's super normal. And that's why it's nice to have a very basic plan, even if it's like, I'm gonna take just 3. That is an accomplishment.
And it's weird. It's like I go home, and I'm like on social media, and I'm looking, and I'm like, were we at the same event? I mean,
Yeah.
because they're like, there's all these folks, and I'm just not a
Pay or
one.
trade somebody.
Huh?
Make it a job. Pay or trade someone to take pictures.
Totally. You can be like, I'll give you a couple bags of granola if you take a couple photos for me. Like that, I would do it.
I'd give it.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And then the same thing with, it is still marketing getting research. So if you can say, my goal today is to talk to 3 people about someone who's been with me before. Like, why do you like my product? Or can I ask you a couple questions? They don't even need to fill anything out. But if you can go into that event knowing your goals, like I'm gonna get some research here and I'm gonna take some photos.
And I find sometimes too that I notice that, like, so I'll come away and I might have talked to people who've had my product and we'll be talking about it. But then when I'm talking to the other women, they'll have walked away with this business connection here and then this, and I'm thinking,
Oh,
like,
networking?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're aware of it. That's step 1. So now, you're like, remember next time I'll connect with that person. But it's always like the why. Why is my time worth that? Or why would I do that? So.
And I'm kind of learning that I realized I need to go because the people throwing the event don't always share with you who they've invited. And I realized, I guess I have to take that step and say, who's coming?
Yeah.
Is there anybody you think that I should meet? Because I'm thinking, how did they all know that person was there? And it wasn't like the organizers shared that. So I guess I have to think ahead as my to-do list too, to ask.
You do, and that goes back to branding and having stuff prepared. So if you're going to an event and you know there's a networking person or maybe a retailer you really want to know, have a one-pager printed out. Like don't like go into that conversation with great to meet you and here's more about me. So you can think with a marketing lens always of if I'm going into this event, I do want to meet that person and I am prepared with more information. It can even be a price list. What would that person want to know about you? So hopefully that helps. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to respect all of your time, 2:28. All right, analyze and adjust. I don't know if there's any, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans. So don't just, also give yourself a pat on the back if you even got to this point of like, I did my event, I put out a QR code, I got responses, and I never looked at them. So make sure you are testing what's working, what's not, what needs tweaking, what's a complete waste of my time. There will be a ton of moments like that, but realize it. That's a waste of my time. I should not be on here. I just realized 8 months down the road that actually no one's on Instagram. They're on what's that one? Barn door, back door? Nextdoor. I learned that about the farmer's market. People were, you can do ads on Nextdoor, and I was like, didn't even know that. I'm wasting my time talking to these people when they're all in here. So it's okay, but stop and adjust. Move on.
There's LinkedIn too.
There's LinkedIn. So that would probably be very excellent if you're a wholesaler and you want to connect to other professionals, B2B, business to business. Knowing your audience and so I'll go back, your goal. Is your goal to get into wholesales? Is it try to get more customers? Is it try to get into more events? That'll really help with where to show up and how to show up. All right, free marketing resources. I mentioned AI, I will again. So there's Claude, ChatGPT, it'll help write captions, emails, newsletters, product descriptions. I find product descriptions so hard sometimes. Like, this creamy butter is smooth and salty, but it has to be 20 words, and you're like, I don't know what else to say. So if you have your brand guide, which is why it's important to have your style, your feel, and keywords, you can use AI to help write some of the more tedious things that come with small businesses, like a product description.
And Claude is free?
Claude's free.
There's paid versions, but the free version gives you quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's like a limited amount.
So does ChatGPT.
Yeah, same thing with ChatGPT, and then as you start to use it, if you realize you need a pro version, sorry, there are specific paid versions that do more, or they have more capabilities, or they'll give you more time within the program.
Yeah. It's something to just try out. I know we all have mixed opinions, and it might take over the whole entire world, but for now, there is some really time-saving, money-saving things you can do with it. I've never used Canva AI, but because I don't do graphics as much anymore, but apparently it can help generate full-on social media posts for you. Graphics. If you don't have a brand, you will look like a robot when you use these things. So the best advice with AI is do know your brand somewhat. Have colors, have logos, have some of your own photos. So when you do use these things, it can create based on you, or it will create, but people are gonna look at you like you're fake or you're trying to scam me. There's no way you're real.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, do.
Just as somebody who, I do a lot of copywriting through the marketing work I do, and I was very much adverse to AI and all of it at first, and then I've realized it's here to stay.
Yeah.
And it's either we could, resist, or you can learn to adapt and use it as the powerful tool that it is. So I am guilty of using it myself now. However, I can spot generative AI text from a mile away. So it still does not have the human organic sound or voice of a human. And I guess my suggestion as a copywriter is you don't want to just plug in whatever and then just copy and paste and just use that for your marketing copy, or whatever you're using, branding language, something on packaging. So it's a great tool to use, I think, get going, and I think it's a great planning tool, and it gives you a lot of great direction, but you still want to have a solid understanding of and grasp of your brand voice and your brand elements. Like you said, you don't want to sound or look like a robot. So I think it's important to have a good organic feel for your brand and your the whatever it is you're extracting from AI, but use it as a helpful tool. Don't just have it as your sole generator, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. It's new. I mean, we all know but I agree, it's not going away. And for small businesses who do everything themselves, it is a tool to utilize, but that's not without still being human in there. And anytime you do write copy, or someone asks you can you just send me the about you, or can you just very often you're asked for descriptions about yourself in slightly different ways. Save those every time. Write down, I go back to Google Docs because it's just so ingrained in me, but it could be a Word doc. It could be something written down, but I find that's hard when you're dealing with digital. But anytime you write about yourself, keep it. That'll also help you continue to refine how you talk about yourself. And if you use AI, plug all those ways that you've talked about yourself before. This is how I like to speak. This is my verbiage. This is my my tone. And that's really helpful when you're using sources like this to not drift off into robot land. And it's also helpful for you when you have to submit copy anywhere to not have to rethink about what did I write that one time, it was so good. Like, it's really hard to get 3 sentences that define you. It's like, how do I do that?
So it keeps that information?
Yes.
it-
The
once-
AI tools, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep refeeding that.
I
Sort
would.
of, yeah, I would still save it though, like Katie is saying. Like the chat bots will like store the chats that you have with it, and now Claude actually just recently changed this where if you start it, because you can have a conversation and then you can start a new conversation about a different topic, it can remember things from previous conversations and they'll carry over into new chat threads. But that said, I still think it's really nice to have everything saved. Google Drive would be a great place, or a great use for that. You know, saving all your docs in a drive and save that marketing language, because it could be possible that something you use for email marketing could be translated over to a social media post, or something that you want to use down the road for whatever. So something that worked really well, you saw it stick in social media, then maybe you want to use that marketing language in another area.
Yeah, so brand guide can be much more than just your colors. I use it all the time. I will upload. I spend a lot of time on my brand guide, and it does have our colors, it does have our logos, but it has a 20-word about us. We talk to different audiences. So we talk to veterans, we talk to farmers, we talk to the general community. So I wouldn't necessarily talk to them all the same way all the time. So if you are gonna pitch to different types of people, maybe you're dealing with the customer coming to your goat snuggle day, but maybe you're talking to someone that owns the hotel as well. So you're describing your business to very different people. And if you're gonna do that, do it right and then write it down so you can save yourself time. You could even save the emails you sent out. Here's my pitch email that I send. You don't have to go dig through your sent. You can copy and paste and tweak it to that person, but save yourself time, money, energy by organization and keeping those anytime you write something down somewhere. And then, yes, I will use that all for AI. I'll say, I need to write an updated bio about us, but this is for this specific group, for these specific people. And that's how it'll give me. And this is how, yeah, I could show you guys my brand guide. It's 16 pages. So like, it didn't start 16 pages. It started 1. And it just keeps building naturally because I keep writing it more and more and more. And I don't want to go back and think every time. I just want to, I'm like, okay, I've done that one before. I'm just going to add it to my library, your brand library. Okay, other free marketing resources that are not AI. Google Business Profiles. So if you are at a physical location, I'm trying to think, anything beyond a physical location? I don't know if that would be, but if you have a physical location, maybe if your farmer's market has a location, I don't know. But this is a free profile you can get through Google. So anytime, you guys have probably seen this. If you Google, let's say the Thai restaurant with the name on the right-hand side of Google search, and I'm sorry, I'm learning a lot about presenting. I should have pictures of this. It'll say the business name, their phone number, their website, and a couple pictures where people can leave reviews. And it's essentially your like really quick website that pops up with Google. And you don't have to do much. You just have to sign up as a business, prove that you're where you are. I'm dealing with a nightmare with Google My Business right now because we just moved locations and I didn't have the proper signage up. And they told us that we're permanently closed. It will never let us go back on Google My Business. So it could also be very detrimental to your brand. But if people are going to Google, I'm going to keep going with this goat snuggling. If they Google goat snuggling, having a Google My Business profile will help you go much higher up the search because you have your information available, and it's free. Same thing for Yelp. Meta Business Suite. So if you are like my people are on Facebook and Instagram, I'm jamming out content, but I don't want to sit here every day posting it. You can schedule. You can schedule your post for free. You can say what time of day you want it to post, where you want it to post. You can do ads, advertising. So some people had asked about advertising, and if your people are on those platforms, boosting is such a low cost way of getting, the feed hides a lot of your stuff too. So spending $5 here and there to have it go in people's feeds would be through there. MailChimp, if you're going to start getting into email, that's one of my favorite, but there's many out there where you can mass send emails at once. And if you start sending a lot of emails, I'd say over 50 or 100, and someone starts spam or saying you're spam or blocking you, you could lose your Google business account. So you want to if you start getting bigger, I wouldn't use your business account. I would go through a third party because they can filter that, and you're not going to lose your business email, which would be a major bummer, or be reported as spam. Linktree. So if you go on someone's, I'll use Instagram for an example, and say you have multiple places you send them. So one post says, read my recipe in my bio. One says, visit my website. You can have this just one link at the top. You tap it, and it shows all the links. It's like a little website, kind of, that'll send you. It could even say, here's the farmer's market event schedule. So it doesn't have to be your personal links, but it could be related to you. So it can live on the top of your social media account and link back to all your platforms, and it's free. I'll just go through this briefly because I mentioned Google so much. Google Sheets is like Excel. So any kind of accounting, data, numbers, charting, that's Google Sheets. Google Docs is like notes, Word doc. Google Drive is where you keep all your sheets and your docs and your folders in one space. And then I will end with this. Let me make sure that's it. You don't need to do this now. I talked about so many things. So this kind of covers all the things I did and just lets you kind of give yourself an audit of what am I currently doing, what do I need to do, what am I not even close to doing, but I don't want to forget this when I get to that point. A lot of times we just rush to that stage when we're not ready to. So I'll just briefly go through this, and I can send the online version as well if that's easier. So check in with your branding. What do you have? What do you feel comfortable starting with? Like maybe you only need 3 of these. I would have a business name. That's a good start. So your business name, logo, and colors. And font. That's great. And then you can, as you learn about yourself and who your audience is, you can get to the About Us. You can learn more about your brand voice. You can add your product photos. You can have this little to-do list of, okay, I know that I'm missing some pieces of my brand guide, so this month I'm gonna get those 2 checked off. So that's an accomplishment, and you're always gonna be doing it. You have your 8-step marketing plan. So what is your goal? Maybe for some of you it's I'm officially gonna launch my business and I'm gonna get into this event. That's a tangible goal. Maybe you have a business, but you are really struggling to get people to come back. So I'm gonna get 10 recurring customers in the next 3 months, and I'm gonna do that by a referral program. Sounds like a lot of words, but at least now you know where you need to go. Research your competition. It's always good to check in on what others are doing. We're all spending time, money, and energy on this. So what is everyone on Reels now? Or I'm what's that? When I'm countering myself, don't do what they're doing just to do it. Know your audience and your why. But if there's some ideas out there, like, oh, they have a really nice banner. I don't have one. That's a good idea. So checking in on your competitors. Know who your audience is. So maybe your goal this month is to send out a survey, or it is to ask, if you don't have a business yet, ask 10 people, friends, relatives, random people on Reddit or on the internet. You can even do research. So say you want to start a, say you want to create a cafe for coffee. Someone has 100 Google reviews on their coffee, and you want to kind of learn more about why people in this town go to coffee shops. Read their reviews, like kind of see what they're like. Why do they come and why do they go? Even if you don't have people yet, you can kind of stalk your competitors and stalk online readers and see what the need is and why they do what they do. Because you might think it's one thing, but it could be close to your one thing, but it might be a little bit different as well. Where do my customers spend time? What do they value most? Quality, convenience, experience, local. Map your buyer's journey. So this might be more so when you're had your business for a while, but this is a great exercise. How do people currently find me? If you don't know, then that's a great place to start. What happens when they consider me? What happens when they buy? And you don't have to just be like, they bought, let's move on. You can say they bought, and now here's this cute little recipe card I'm putting with their granola, at the bottom has my Instagram. So each stage can have a little idea there. You can mark it along every part. Retention, what brings them back. I'm on social media, and I'm letting people know I'm at this event. I'm reminding them. They know, but I'm reminding them. I'm emailing them. I know that they don't care about my Instagram, but if I email them on Friday morning that my market's open, they are like 100 times more likely to click. And then advocacy, what makes people, you're not gonna get people aware of you if no one's talking about you. So how do you get your loyal customers to talk about you? Knowing your budget, choosing the right channels, develop your content messaging, and you don't need to know every single piece, but just filling this out will get you thinking. Analyze and adjust, and at the very end, go through your sheet. What are like the big, I really need to work on those things, or based on my goal, I can tell, I could probably do 100 things, but I don't need to. I really should start with these 5. That's my hope for you all, is that you can narrow this down into your 5 takeaways. 1, I really need better product photos. 2, I have to get on Yelp. I'm really struggling for people to find me. My goal is to get on Yelp. I need photos because I have to upload them to Yelp. I need to write it in my calendar to respond to reviews. So going through your marketing plan and what are the top 5 steps to take away so you're not spinning the hamster wheel. You could do 100 things, you can't. And so if you can just narrow it down to, you can even narrow it down to 3, 2, 1, but have something, an actionable item with purpose that goes back to your goals, your branding, and marketing. Okay, any questions? Yeah.
So I do consulting and workshops, and it's kind of a niche market. Mm-hmm. And I do QR codes that people can access.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm at a conference and people like to see what I do right there. So I used to do flyers. And is that antiquated? I mean, trifles with the information? Mm-mm. Okay.
Does,
like brochures, yeah. Yeah,
Have you seen-
I'm thinking I could put it all on a QR code. But sometimes people get fired up. And so they want to see what there is there.
Yeah.
So that's not antiquated then.
Do
Double, yeah.
Yeah.
You have, so you go to events and you talk about what you do.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're not really getting it, so you want to give them a physical thing.
No,
Oh, they
it's
get
what
it.
I do. It's the other trainings that I do.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So like how to stay connected with you.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah,
and
or
the
people
types
that
of
want to
stuff.
say, and I have different markets, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they came,
So-
but they're from the nursing field.
Okay.
So they want specific for nurses.
Yep.
Whereas I was talking to social workers,
Uh-huh.
whatever, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know?
So you got them aware of you, and
Yeah.
now you want to keep them in.
Yeah.
So they're really excited about your upcoming classes.
But they don't know what the upcoming classes are. That's the thing. Yeah, that's what the
Yeah,
flyer
so that's
is.
great, but then also the flyer could go home and be thrown. So,
That's-
but it's
that's-
good to have it. The QR code or lead them to somewhere where you can stay in contact with them, like I'd say the consideration part.
Uh-huh.
Do you do email at all?
Yeah, and I usually give them my email,
Yeah.
but I think it works better the other way. Yeah.
We collect emails at the workshop.
Yeah.
The sign-in sheet is a good example of that.
Totally.
Yeah. I've done that before, yeah, and so, but I'm just wondering if brochures are antiquated, or people want to go, yeah.
Especially in Hawaii, I feel like for some reason, like that, like physical.
Yeah.
We have so many bulletin boards around here, it still kind of feels like we live in the 80s. So I feel like.
But even bulletin boards here, I don't know, people, we put them up all over, yeah, and people go,
Have
I
you
didn't see
seen any results from it? Have you done it yet?
not for my, no, for this one workshop I did here, there wasn't.
But you've had the brochure before.
Yeah, no, I've had a brochure before.
Okay.
So I just have to redo it, but I'm wondering.
Okay. So I would say, obviously, testing it out, asking your, I guess you would want to have feedback as if it worked. But what I found is I have a similar experience, and I can only speak from experience, but we would go to events, and I would give them a QR code for $10 off if they signed up, and everyone was saying no one ever did it. But if I got if you get their email, you're in control now. But now you have to follow up. So what are you putting in that email? So what goes in that email is your schedule, a link to sign up right now. So if you can kind of get the control and not put it in their hands, because they're not likely to do it, what you found, that is why knowing the stage of where they're at is helpful on what you make. But there's no harm in having the flyer. But if you're not seeing success with the flyer, that's where the check-in and adjust is key.
And I do think incentives really help. I'm sure you guys do too. I mean,
Yeah.
I sign people up. I do training for caregivers. And if I say you're going to get a free book if you sign up today, I've got lots of people.
Totally.
Anyway.
Food is good too.
Always.
Hey,
Mini flyers.
mini flyers are
We do it at
great.
Market, we do mini flyers,
Yeah.
and then we hand it out to like the food drives, or even to the school when the parents are waiting. They hand it out to the parents. So that I feel works.
Yeah, so if you see results from it, amazing. If you do not, adjust. So clearly something's happening here where I'm losing them, but I'm spending a lot of time and money and energy making this beautiful brochure. So if you're not seeing people come through, then you're asking the right questions where, okay, now let me pivot something. Maybe I try to you can still hand it out, but I'll get your emails and I'll let them know. I'll send you the schedule.
And you suggested Canva. Canva does really awesome printing, whether you want card pulls, brochures, flyers, and they deliver really quickly. And I've compared them to all the different printing places around here and other ones that people suggested. And Canva is so affordable, and it really is, I've noticed, a very superior product. So,
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
and
Canva's
you
great.
suggested all over too, Canva, but
I
also
love
for printing.
Canva.
I do too.
I really don't know how to get away from it. Yeah, does that help? Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had one comment in case it's useful to anyone, because we at Kohala Food Hub obviously market food and products. That's like a big piece of what we do. And in terms of the social media, like that could be a whole nother topic of a workshop all on its own, social media marketing. But as you're thinking about your product photography, I would suggest, like, when you're posting it on social, if it has a human face in it, it does a lot better than if it's just the product itself, right? And a video works better than a still photo. And we've just seen that over and over again. So as you're doing that, and the videos, people don't want these big, polished, professional, expensive videos anymore. It's really like, just like you're doing a selfie video of yourself at the location, you're walking around and you're being real and you're authentic and you're speaking. Like, that's what's going to stop the scroll, is what we've started to notice. So just in as much as that's helpful. And to the AI piece, like, the more you feed into Claude or ChatGPT, the more it knows your brand, the more it knows your voice, the more it kind of does what Jesse was saying, like takes out that kind of computer bot voice and it makes it more into your own voice. But you always want to go through it yourself, like, and make it, a little more human and that kind of thing. But
Totally.
There's so many different ways. Like, I think the other piece I would just offer is, like, don't get frustrated. Like, it takes a while. It takes persistence. And like Katie said, like, it's an average of 7 to 8 impressions before somebody actually converts to a customer. And like, know that you gotta catch them on social. You gotta catch them in person at the community events, right? You gotta catch them with the printed flyers. You gotta catch them the word of mouth, the Coconut Wireless, like getting your brand ambassadors or the folks who become your advocates who love your product so much. Like, that's gold, right? So, and it's just kind of the showing up over and over again. So I just offered those last thoughts as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. And if social media is where you want to live, it really could be a whole different beast. But I would say for social, I work with an incredible girl on our team who does marketing, and she gets really discouraged. Like, no one watches this and no one views this. And I'm like, think of marketing, think of our social media as our awareness, like our website. They click on it and they're looking through all our photos. They're looking through all our videos, and like, they're getting a feel for us. So it's worth getting low views on something if it's telling your story, telling your brand, showing the events that you're at. So if you're doing it intentionally, I know it can be frustrating, but but it's important to keep showing up consistently in a few spaces.
So, I mean, social media is, like Maya said, its own beast. I think I'm on a mic, but I'll double mic. And it's constantly changing. So it's not, I feel like the tools are not doing or used for what they were even like a few years ago. I felt, Instagram, for example, I think used to be have like more of a conversion rate, and I don't look at it that anymore. It's more like a homepage.
Yep.
Like you said, it's like, and especially the younger generations, I think a lot of even the Gen Z, right? That's the younger.
Honestly, can't keep up.
They don't even Google things. They go to Instagram to like look for a brand. There you go. Chanson's a good
credibility.
example. Yeah, so there's a credibility piece. There's like a brand validation or legitimacy. So even if you're posting and you're not posting for traction or like, amount of likes and views, having a solid homepage shows that your brand is well established, it's validated, you're real, it kind of tells your story, and it's a place, it's like, and it's even easier than building a website, honestly, because you create your Instagram account or whatever, and then you're constantly gathering content, you're telling your story. So look at it as just like another homepage, and it's just another place you can market yourself. It's not necessarily a conversion tool. That's probably going to be for smaller brands, more online or either e-commerce if you do that directly from your website, or more farmers markets and events and field marketing and things like that. But it's important, I think, to have these different social media channels as just like places people can find you, and then the conversion comes through other additional like marketing efforts and direct sales and things like that.
Yeah, and just because advertising was mentioned a few times in the questions, it's a good, before you boost a post, you can look back at your most popular post. So before you put money behind a random photo you post, you can go back and say, this one image did super well organically. So that kind of gives you evidence that it would do well paid. So you can also use it as some research too about the kind of content your audience wants to see before you start putting ad dollars behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions for Katie? We wrap
Yeah,
up?
you're so welcome.
Big,
You guys
huge
got
mahalo
this.
to Katie. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate you guys taking
Yeah.
time out of your Saturday.